just more proof about the way that he is building this program.
C.J. Wallace with the kickoff. The gold team won the toss and will receive. A windy evening here at Husky Stadium. That one virtually through the back of the end zone.
I'm excited to see, how they obviously Jedd Fisch is the commissioner of this draft, right? If you're thinking back there about your fantasy drafts, but he basically just kind of sat in his office by himself and placed all these guys on these teams. So kind of curious to see what kind of battles we see develop.
Elijah Brown will quarterback the first series of the Washington spring game. Considered the leader in the clubhouse to be the backup to Damon Williams Jr. this season. Damon Williams wearing purple tonight, or black, I guess, a no-contact jersey, but he's playing for the purple team, and we expect to see him for a quarter tonight. Here's the sophomore Stanford transfer, Elijah Brown, under center. Quade Carr with the carry, and the running back position, one thing that's wide open about the offense.
Yeah, and Quade Carr's really kind of been RB1 throughout the spring as we get a flag on our first play here. But I think he's taken advantage of a real opportunity with arguably the top 3 backs on this roster out for most of spring. The 2 transfers, Jaden Lamar, Trey Cooley, and then Jordan Washington with the unfortunate injury a couple weeks ago.
Legal hands to the face penalty, Brett.
Okay, let's see if we can take a look at. Oh, yeah. That happened right there as Trez Davis was in there trying to block. Was that Ryland Dillard-Allen?
Yes.
Yeah, RDA got a little too much edge on that first play. Now he's a dude that brings the juice to this defense, no question. Just gotta contain that just a little bit here early on.
It's a glorified scrimmage, but guys are amped.
They'll be tracking that, no question, though. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that costs you some serious yardage.
Brown on the rollout. Pass is caught by Justice Williams for a gain of a little over a yard.
Justice, one of only 3 receivers that you'll see tonight with actual production from a year ago. Just had a handful of catches. Again, a youthful group trying to replace the likes of Denzel Boston. Desmond Roebuck, the true sophomore, at 42 catches last year as a freshman. Got some great experience there. 7 touchdowns. They'll be counting on him in a big role, along with some real competition for some of those other spots.
Williams figures to be a wide receiver 3 candidate this season, as Brown's next pass is hauled in by returning tight end Decker DeGraff going into his junior season.
Boy, they relied on Decker DeGraff in a big way a year ago. 688 snaps, almost always on the field as part of these 11 personnel formations that you see so often here, which include 3 receivers, a running back, and a tight end. And I actually spent some time with Decker this summer. He was catching balls for Fernando Mendoza as Fernando was training down in Southern California for the draft. Fernando, the Heisman Trophy winner, actually just went through his first practice as a Raider at rookie minicamp.
Decker's from San Dimas, California. Here's some razzle-dazzle.
Let's
That's
go.
Des Roebuck, the wide receiver who was going to chuck it long and then tucked and ran. He lost about a yard from the original line of scrimmage.
All right, let's get a look at this first little piece of trickery. Jedd Fisch is always in his bag, although he's not calling the plays here today. And that was a smart move by Desmond Roebuck. Again, just the discretion to take that down and not risk a turnover.
Devin Hyde, sophomore edge rusher, brought him down. And it's a 4th down here. The offense stays on the field. Here's Roebuck, over 500 receiving yards and 7 touchdowns last season. Over the middle, that pass is incomplete. 16 on 16. Williams, the intended target, and Ramon Adams Jr. in pass coverage.
Yeah, boy, there was not a lot available right there for Elijah Brown. That was a really nice defensive stand there for the purple team getting after it. Not a lot of places for Elijah Brown to go, and Adams Jr. with the breakup there.
By all accounts, Adams Jr.'s had a big spring. Figures to factor into the nickel cornerback position battle this season. Rashawn Clark is the penciled-in starter, but he's out with an injury.
Yeah, and that was one of the position groups, obviously, with Clark out, that Jedd Fisch had singled out as the kind of battles he's been watching throughout camp, along with receiver and edge rusher among those as well. Running back, of course, as we mentioned just a minute ago.
All right, here he is, Damon Williams Jr., rising star in the Big Ten. His first snap of the spring game is blown dead. A procedural penalty.
Yep, just a little too amped up here.
That's a false start on Team Purple.
Williams quarterbacking the purple team. Again, we expect to see him for the first quarter tonight, and he's actually going to become a play caller in the second quarter, we understand.
Yeah, so, you know, as he goes to the sidelines and usually talks to Coach Fish about what he wants, now he's going to get that from some of these younger quarterbacks, going to be trying to get in his ear like, hey, let's toss one deep, yeah? We'll see if Damon Williams will oblige with some of those requests.
Jake Flores is the center. Williams throws to the boundary, and he overshoots Rashid Williams going into his junior season.
Boy, Rashid Williams, you know, just 5 catches last year, but I think we could be in for a breakout season here for Rashid Williams. Coach Fish telling us this has been his best spring without question. He is a special player and will certainly factor into that competition, try to get on the field with Desmond Roebuck and company.
Williams broke his collarbone against UC Davis early last season. Shut down what he hoped was going to be a promising 2025 campaign. Second and long. Williams, a dart. That was intercepted. It was tipped and picked off by Dylan Robinson.
Dylan Robinson with a diving grab for the turnover. So these defenses have made a couple of big plays here early on. Let's take another look at this pass over the middle here, a little behind and off target as Williams was looking for Rashid Williams, but just a little behind him. The tips and overthrows, we got to get those, and the defense did here. No, you heard it. Tips and overthrows, that's it.
I thought it was just
It is a
echo.
familiar refrain throughout every college football sideline.
Well, it's a program that has a great recent track record of turning out professional defensive backs, and the coaching staff thinks Dylan Robinson is a future first-round pick. That pass is dropped for the gold team into the flat for Desmond Roebuck, and kind of like what we saw for much of the spring practices, the defense looked strong early.
Well, look, and that is generally the case here. There is, you know, a lot to be said for an aggressive mentality that defenses can rely on, more so than the precision of an offensive scheme to get things done. So you do see that often, but by the end of the spring here, you hope to see a little bit more cohesion and efficiency from an offense.
Quade Carr in at tailback. He's got the carry, stays between the tackles and is wrestled down. Good gain on second down there. Donovan Robinson Jr. with the tackle.
Yeah, and again, Carr, I think, was just such a great opportunity to, kind of plant his flag in that competition for carries as we get back into fall camp here in a couple of months. See if he can continue to take advantage of that. Has had some impressive moments throughout the spring, and it's kind of led that competition with Lamar and Cooley and Washington out.
Here's a blitz. Brown hangs in there looking for DeGraff. It's incomplete. Coverage by Rylan Dillard Allen, the guy they call Batman.
RDA is a stud, and he's really kind of coming into his own. I think that's what Ryan Walters was really saying when he was talking about RDA to us, just that he's really kind of being himself. He's naturally a leader. He plays with the edge, blessed with speed and acceleration. Biggest thing was he put on some muscle mass to really kind of compete now going into his sophomore year. I think you can kind of see that even from up here.
He's not the only guy in this program that
Jeez. I mean, they've gained over 600 pounds of muscle, according to strength and conditioning coach Tyler Owens. Also lost 400 pounds of fat. That is a big-time body composition change for this team.
A muffed punt return. Luke Dunn with the punt, and it held up there a long while for Mason James, who was unable to come up with it. And then it was recovered.
We got a score here. That's Dylan Robinson.
By Dylan Robinson, so a defensive touchdown opens the scoring in the Washington spring game.
I guess that's kind of fitting based off what we've seen from these defenses early on. They've been the ones making all the plays, and this was a tough one here. The wind, it is windy out here, and you got to think that that played into the equation for Mason James, who was unable to corral that. And then nice work, obviously, by Dylan Robinson, kind of letting that ball get into the end zone before he recovered it.
Here's the point after try for Tyler Robles. Special teams units underwent quite a bit of change for Washington this season. Robles splits the uprights. 7-0 lead for Gold.
Obviously, we're seeing plenty of Australians and kind of get into punting and that sort of thing. Like we've seen some real evolution in the specialist game over the last couple of years.
There's Jamie Clark, the men's soccer team's head coach, wearing a headset. That's something that soccer coaches typically don't do on the sidelines in their own games, but he's the honorary head coach for the Gold team here today. Got to put on a headset, got to play the part.
Is there a coach-to-player communication today? I mean, I'd love to hear the soccer coach in Damon Williams is here.
Any green dots, perhaps? That was X-Ray Alexander on the fair catch on the kick return.
240-pound X-Ray Alexander. All right, sure. Playmaker.
I did read an article where, because the kick return position is wide open this season, someone put in a prompt to ChatGPT, who's most likely to return kicks for Washington this season, and the answer came up, X-Ray Alexander. So maybe there's more.
There's more to it, no question. LA Bowl MVP, 7 tackles and an interception. He's up to almost 240 pounds. I think he's going to be a real stud for what is probably one of the strengths of this team in that linebacker core, which we'll get into.
On the ground, this is Ryken Moon, the son of NFL Hall of Famer Warren Moon, and that's a good carry, finished off by Jacob Manu at the end of that first down run.
Love the legacies for Warren Moon. What a stud. Absolute rifle on that right arm. Great to see his son here carrying on the Husky tradition.
Ryken went to Bellevue High School on 2nd and short. Incomplete, looking for Mason James.
Well, really good protection is kind of what I've seen here so far, especially on the purple team in front of Damon Williams. He's just been a little bit off target here. And, if you go back to last year as a full-time starter, he was deadly accurate from the line of scrimmage to 10 yards downfield. That's where the majority, completed almost 80% of his passes in that area of the field, just could not connect there.
Led comeback wins against Rutgers and Maryland through 4 touchdowns, ran for another in a huge win against Illinois. Carry on 3rd down and short, and the first down sign given. That was Ryken Moon on the carry again. Here's your point about the completion percentage for Damon Williams.
Boy, Will Rogers, in that first year with Jedd Fisch, really did a nice job early in the year, and then Damon Williams took over. And then last year, he completed nearly 70% of his passes. I think I'd really like to see that accuracy more consistently pushing the ball down the field going into this year. We'll see how that develops here throughout spring and then once we get into fall.
Into the flat, pass is caught by Mason James, true freshman from the heart of Sooner country, Norman, Oklahoma. He's had some high-level catches in spring practice.
Yeah, no question. Another guy that the coaching staff has singled out to us. Jedd Fisch says he's going to have a great career, big role in the game here. Dez has kind of taken him as his understudy, kind of right under his wing, Desmond Roebuck. But boy, a better block from Jordan Clay at the point of attack, and that one might have gone for some distance. Ooh, another one. Just off target here, Chris.
Looking for Jordan Clay that time. 3rd down.
And again, this area of the field, and even when his feet are on the move, this is generally an area where Damon Williams has been really good. Again, just a little bit off target here to get things going. And, part of this is, again, you're splitting these teams up, right? And so he's throwing to some guys that, maybe not traditionally, or maybe not traditionally, but maybe not that have been, within the 1s and 2 groups that he's been working with over the course of spring. So getting that chemistry together is part of this as well.
Okay.
Oh, let's go, Chris.
This is one of the play calling quirks because the soccer coaches are the honorary head coaches for the game today. Each coach has the opportunity to hand out a red card and disqualify a player of their choosing from the game for one play. So The gold team, coached by men's head coach Jamie Clark, has given Damon Williams Jr. a red card. So he has to sit out for this play.
Well, it's a no quarterback? Like, what are we doing?
It's 11 on 10.
So Baron Naoni is going to be the QB for this play, the tight end? This is a dream come true.
Just a crafty move by Jamie Clark.
Oh, a deep shot, too. Let's go. Oh, no, and it's picked off.
Intercepted by Paul Mankey Jr. Now, there is a flag on the play. If this play stands, I mean, a coaching stroke of genius by Jamie Clark.
Just put him in the Hall of Fame after that. I didn't know that they were going to be able to pick the exact player that they could take out. Like, that is genius. I think we're going to get some PI here down the field.
It's on the call.
Oh,
on offense.
So
And it's time to take over Denver. Chris?
thank you very much, Cameron.
It as well. And then you had some teammates here in Washington. They're going to be teammates with the San Francisco 49ers, and Efi Prysock and Carver Willis, both fourth-round picks of the 49ers.
This is Ansu Sano on the ground, his second straight carry of this drive. He was upended by Gavin Day, but a big run, another big run, the true freshman from Oregon.
Boy, these true freshmen, man, they are going to get opportunities here for Jedd Fisch. Great vision right there, kind of plugged up in the middle. He bounces it outside, showcases some of that explosiveness, and then makes the defense pay for it right there with the way he finishes the run physically.
He's earned the reputation as a punisher.
241 pounds, I'll say.
Now here's a nugget for you, Rhett. All of the bulking up that Washington did. Here's Roebuck on the jet sweep, and a great tackle made right at the line of scrimmage by Gavin Day again.
Another true freshman. Gavin Day was a heat-seeking missile from his spot there as a safety. I mean, watching Roebuck on the end around, and look at the speed, the closing ability right there from Gavin Day. Get excited. That is an electric play.
Might have lost a half yard on the play. Day had an interception at the scrimmage last weekend. This one more official, of course, being the ultimate spring game at the end of the practice season. Comes into the program with some credentials, a four-star recruit. You mentioned it out of Las Vegas.
One of a bunch of top 300 players that Jedd Fisch and his staff have recruited here for this year. And so many of those guys are going to get opportunities for this team.
That's a great note about the program. If you're a freshman, you come to Washington, you're going to get a shot to play right away. Brown, the quarterback, that's Carr out of the backfield.
So Elijah Brown, you know, I think is an interesting conversation here. You mentioned leader in the clubhouse for QB2. I would certainly agree with that based off of what Jedd Fisch has told us. And I think the biggest thing here is the experience. He started college football games for Stanford. He's won college football games as a starter. And I think that's something that you want, you know, in terms of trust, in terms of confidence in your QB2, if you got to go out there and win a game. But, you know, talking about Dash Byerly, Keeney McMillan, and Derek Zammit as the other three quarterbacks who I think are going to be live in this game, by the way, which will be fun to see. You know, I think maybe not the talent overall of those other three younger players, but that experience, I think, plays a big role here.
Third and long, and it's DeGraff who hauls in the pass at the 25-yard line, but still 7 yards short of a first down.
Decker DeGraff with 32 catches a year ago. Chris, I think he could be in line to see 50 plus this year. He's that kind of talent, the way he works at it. And again, you know, still just a junior, going into his junior year. You'll see a big jump.
Tight ends, a prominent aspect of the Jedd Fisch offense.
This might be the time you might want to kick.
Okay, we had Tyler Robles on the field for a kick, a field goal, I should say, and it appears the purple team and head coach Nicole Van Dyke have given Robles a red card, so he's out.
We've got problems here because we got a short, look at the short side on the right side. We tried to sneak a tight end on to help even it up, but you can't. It's 10 on 11. I think we could see a field goal block here.
The punter, Luke Dunn, will try it.
All right,
He's
Luke.
typically the holder.
Oh, no rush. Okay.
Didn't need one.
Yeah.
Coach Van Dyke.
And again, worth noting that it was a great move by head coach Nicole Van Dyke because Robles couldn't kick and then Dunn couldn't hold, so everything was out of whack.
Well, the snap wasn't great either. So we had a whole lot of moving parts right there. But I tell you what, these two soccer coaches right now have had some excellent strategy.
So everybody having a good sense of humor about this. And again, here's what is at your disposal as honorary head coach in the Washington spring game. We haven't gotten to this yet. First bullet point, a lineman has the opportunity to fair catch a punt. You have to be 280 pounds or more. It's a fair catch. You can't return the punt, but if you catch it, you win 10 automatic yards for your team. If you drop it, then your team loses 10 yards. So we've seen the red card. We haven't seen either coach tap themselves in to kick a point after attempt, but we'll see. This is Damon Williams still in the game here in the second quarter. Mason James gets run out of bounds.
That's what you expect to see from Damon Williams, is that explosiveness as he scoots out of the pocket and then connects on the money with Mason James, talented freshman receiver from Oklahoma, who is in line to compete for one of those top 3 wide receiver spots here. But that's what you come to expect from Damon Williams.
Again, running clock, and there is a timeout under 6 minutes in each quarter. We'll keep it here. Only one touchdown in the game so far. It's been a defensive touchdown.
Just like Coach Fish drew it up, I'm sure. But look,
It rolls on the offensive line this season, but just out with injuries. They'll be back fully healthy in time for camp in August, but it's a tight-knit group, as I said at the start.
No question. John Mills, the big left guard in there, lining up next to Cody Green, the true freshman left tackle. They expect big things from him. Drew Azzopardi was part of that group that lobbied to move the workout that Cam was just talking about. There's a great story. I love that Cam was able to tell that for us. And Azzopardi is a guy who I think next year at this time we're going to be talking about as a potential first or second round pick.
On the ground, this is Julian McMahon. Another big body in the running back room, 234 pounds out of San Ramon, California.
That's a big-time penetration in there on the inside. Coleman Brusa, number 5, the true freshman at 290 pounds. I mean, this is a guy who played mostly edge rusher in high school and has bulked up in the short time that he's been here. By the way, he's still got 3 events on his high school calendar: baccalaureate mass, prom, and graduation. And he's out here playing with the ones at a Big Ten football team.
What a spring for him, wrapping up his high school academic career at Kennedy Catholic. Older brother Lowen is a year ahead of him and is an offensive lineman on the football team. This is McMahon again, and he gets wrestled down by Deshaun Watts. And it's 4th down.
All right, again, this white defensive front. See Coleman, look at the knockback from Coleman Brusa, number 5 in white, center of your screen. I feel like the purple team was lucky that play was going off to the perimeter. Still, though, short of the line to gain. It looks like we've got a go-for-it situation here. Who gets to make this call? Soccer coach is still making this call?
That's a great question.
On the go, I mean, we're at our own 33 here.
I'm going to guess Damon Williams made this call.
That's a fair point.
He hands it off to McMahon. McMahon was wrapped up by Isaiah Tokyo, another freshman, number 40, but it appears he had enough to move the sticks.
Tokyo, another one of those talented members of that linebacking group. He filled that gap nicely. You saw him read that quickly, come through and get his hands on McMahon just a little bit too late.
1st and 10, Williams. It is hauled in on the boundary by Jordan Clay. Pass caught and a 1st down.
That's some trust right there. No separation, but that was one of those back shoulder plays that obviously Fernando Mendoza and Elijah Surratt made very popular on their national title run there. And that was executed to perfection with a one-handed grab with the use of the helmet. Then we bring it in with two. Jordan Clay, another true freshman wideout, making a big play.
He's from San Antonio, so that's the longest pass of the day for the Washington offense, either purple or gold. And the ball now at the 43-yard line.
Kind of interesting, you look at those true freshman wideouts. I mean, Jedd Fisch going into SEC country and getting 3 of them. Damon Williams.
Home run shot. Rashid Williams, touchdown. Washington, the purple team. And a souvenir from Damon.
Boy, you want to talk about generating some separation. That's what Rashid Williams did here on this big play action from Damon. Stepping on the toes of the cornerback, Dylan Robinson, and creating separation at the break point, heading to the goalpost, and then bringing it down for 6.
Ball was launched.
Line, feel me? They saw the run with the run fake, got the safety.
So the first offensive touchdown of the spring game for the Huskies comes from the purple team, and QB1 Damon Williams and Rashid Williams poised for a bounce-back junior campaign after some injuries, broken collarbone specifically as a sophomore. Point after try good from C.J. Wallace.
Well, look, I think that's what, Coach Fisch was telling us about when he said just how special Rashid Williams is. That kind of explosive ability to create separation and allowing basically a 3 or 4 yard box for Damon Williams to drop that in the bucket down the field. That's the type of deep ball accuracy you love to see from Damon Williams as well, and probably why you left him in the game a little bit longer.
I noticed also head coach Jedd Fisch, he's kind of become somewhat of an on-field the tailback. Brown gets it out of there, and the pass is hauled in by Trez Davis.
Well, I know
like everybody's a freshman.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically what the trend has been here early on. But I think, you're going to watch here. This ball took a little bit to get out of the hands of Elijah Brown. Didn't quite see it maybe as fast as he would have liked. But, boy, you saw the arm talent. He was able to wing it right there to Trez Davis.
Kind of does the same thing there to Sano, the running back out of the backfield, who picks up 5 on first down.
Taking another look at the Trez Davis catch. Again, kind of, holstered that thing for a second, but then, boy, you saw that. He's got a live arm now to be able to get it out to Davis.
Trying to show off his live legs as well, but it's Exree Alexander who whistles that play down.
Boy, Exree Alexander, I'm telling you right now, is going to be a name to know this fall. It was awesome to see him grow kind of in this system a little bit last year. He got some more opportunities, and his linebackers coach, Brian Odom, said he's one of the few people he's been around that's never complained about playing time, just worked, got better. It was Buda Alukta's injury that kind of allowed him some additional playing time. He's 240 pounds now, playing fast. He sees it the right way. He's learned the scheme. He's learned the game. And keep track of this here. This is what Coach Odom said. He's a good tackler. He's got versatility. He's a good job in coverage, good job in pass rush, good job in the run game. I think we checked all the boxes.
I can't think of one that you missed. And he came into the offseason with a lot of momentum after being named MVP
right.
of the LA Bowl, that win over Boise State.
Well, let's think about this linebacker core now. So Exree Alexander, Jacob Manu comes back fully healthy. By the way, he's supposed to be calling plays here for the defense as well, and we'll see if we can figure out whether he's been on the call, whether he's had the call sheet yet or not. But then you throw in guys like Zadrius Rainey-Saleh, who was questionable coming into this game. Not sure how much we'll really see him. They've got some real, and then when Buda Alukta comes back, I mean, it's a great problem to have, but you've got 4 Big Ten starting caliber linebackers, and this is a defense that generally plays 2, although I think you could see Ryan Walters kind of create some opportunities to get those guys on the field.
Significant playing experience from the 3 names on the screen there. Manu, remember, was first-team All-Pac-12 at Arizona in 2023, led the conference in tackles that year. And signals crossed here. Justice Williams, the intended receiver, and Emmanuel Carnley was the cornerback.
Yeah, Williams was running the comeback, and Elijah Brown thought he was going to convert that into a goal ball. A little miscommunication there, but that's what spring is for, although that will end the 2-minute drill opportunity.
Under 2 minutes, so the clock does stop with under 2 minutes to go, both in this half and, of course, the fourth quarter. Here's Dunn in his usual role. Whew, Hunter, this is a booming, spiraling kick that goes 7 yards into the end zone.
No question he's got the leg. Try to get that one inside the 5 next time.
Consistency, one thing Dunn will try and improve upon in his junior season.
Yeah, averaged just about 40 yards a punt a year ago. Love to see that number come up, as well as the punts downed inside the 20, when you can really then kind of let Ryan Walters kind of pin the ears back of some of those talented edge rushers and linebackers to wreak some havoc on an opposing offense, kind of backed up in their own end. You're going to keep Demond in here? Do we have a new quarterback?
I don't see a black jersey. I think I see Keeney McMillan.
Here we go.
Treston McMillan, he goes by Keeney, and wearing a purple jersey, so he is live for contact. On a rollout, and that pass is caught right on the sideline by Rashid Williams, who's having a great opening half.
No question, and I think you see the skill set right here of Keeney McMillan, the mobility to get out of the pocket, and then that accuracy on the run can be such a valuable weapon for an offense. And on the money right there to Rashid Williams. I think, you know, Keeney McMillan is I think a fan favorite. I think he's a guy that a lot of folks would want to see challenge for that number 2 quarterback position, and more plays like that, he'll have that opportunity.
He's already earned a reputation for swagger. From Hawaii, it's through the hands and incomplete. His intended receiver there.
Yeah, Deji Ajosi's got to come up with that one for sure. That is a catchable ball. That was an on-target pass from Keeney McMillan, who has looked locked in here in the final seconds of this first half. Got to come up and make that catch for your quarterback.
Well, to the point of his swagger, reports indicated that McMillan was getting in shoving matches with defensive linemen after plays, all just in the heat of combat, of course, nothing.
Is that Devin
over the
Hyde?
top.
I think that was a little bit scrappy in that final scrimmage. There, you love to see the edge, you know, on both sides of it, but obviously you got to temper that down.
Here's a blitz on second down, and McMillan throws it away.
Yeah, again, look, I think for a young player right there, that's an important play too. Even though it ends up as an incompletion, you're under duress. You're able to get out of the pocket where you can then just throw it away. You get the ball above the line, you know, past the line of scrimmage and live to play another down. Some of that discretion, you know, that takes some time to develop if you're a younger quarterback. And Keeney McMillan's now had, you know, over a year in this system as a redshirt freshman, so kind of understands, you know, what Jedd Fisch is asking of him. And I think plays like that are, you know, just as important to evaluate as the ones where he makes, you know, a completion like on that first throw he had.
Looking for Williams, it's incomplete. That'll bring up fourth down.
Well, again, heavy pressure right there from the white team defense, and that's a scenario where you want to see the processing ability of a player like Keeney McMillan, and I think he had the right idea. Get the ball out of his hands quickly. He knew where he wanted to go. You'll see the pressure come. Number 9, Jacob Manu, coming in there, almost like a double A-gap blitz, and, you know, McMillan is able to stand in, get the ball out quick. He was just a little bit off target with it. Kind of rushing, you know, maybe some of the mechanics there that forced an errant throw.
Desmond Roebuck back deep to receive this punt. Hunter Crane with the boot. Roebuck, who's under the 280-pound limit for a bonus 10 yards.
Just a hair.
It's about 100 pounds. About 100 pounds makes the fair catch.
Secure the punt, secure the punt, secure the punt. 3 priorities for punt return. Give our team the football. Anything else is a bonus.
Roebuck stepping into the wide receiver 1 role vacated by Denzel Boston.
No doubt. And is it? No, as a guy, as we're going to hit the halftime here?
Yeah, we
sure did. Yeah, but Roebuck's a guy that, Coach Fish mentioned studies at an elite level, takes care of his body at an elite level. He's always a guy with, that's accumulating the most yards run during Spokane.
Alexander with the catch in the end zone, no return. Purple football to start the 3rd quarter.
All right, let's see if we start this second half a little bit faster on the offensive side of the ball than we did to open the game. Some turnover on down, turnovers period for both teams. I liked what I saw from Keeney McMillan in limited action in the first half. Let's see if he can continue to build on it here.
He is the starting quarterback to begin the 3rd quarter for the purple team. Dash Byerly also on the purple roster. We expect to see him at some point tonight as well. McMillan under center here, and Ryken Moon is the running back. Moon with the carry, puts his head right into Tokyo and finally gets pushed back after a 9-yard gain.
How about Damon going to the run game early on here? I think they'll get some points from his head coach, Jed Fish, when they go back and evaluate the play calls here.
The coaching staff has been so impressed with how he's embraced the leadership portion of what it means to be a starting quarterback. He's become really vocal this season, and this is a fun exercise in that. Bobbled snap, and Moon gets shut down at the line of scrimmage.
Did you guys catch that, by the way? You saw that Rasheed Williams was coming up to try to advocate right next to Damon Williams before he called that last play, and so much so he had to move away. That's a veteran move by the play caller, Damon Williams. Get yourself some space, get out of the noise, call your play.
J.P. Lossman peeking in there with the play sheet. And you got to tune out the noise, whether you're on the field or calling plays.
All right, let's see what he's got here in this short yardage situation here, Chris. Going under center.
McMillan in trouble and sacked by freshman Ramzak Fruin. Another guy from Hawaii, coincidentally, and a guy that the coaching staff really, really likes.
And another one of those true freshmen that have had some big-time opportunities early on here in spring. Ramzak Fruin in the mix to be one of those edge rushers. Let's see the discipline here, right, to not get caught off guard with, look at that change of direction right there from Ramzak Fruin, number 11 in white. You see the athleticism right there, and as he continues to add some weight and some strength to his frame, he's going to be a force to be reckoned with off the edge.
2-point stance here. We'll see what Damon Williams Jr. calls up off the play sheet on 4th down from the 31. McMillan picks up the first down with his legs. He was tripped up by Zadrius Rainey-Saleh. But a broken play, and McMillan extends it with his legs.
Well, and that certainly felt a little bit like Damon Williams, didn't it? With some of those skills, that mobility. I didn't like what he saw. 4th down, go make a play with your legs and extend this drive for your team. Nice tackle, though, from behind by Rainey-Saleh.
McMillan is eligible for contact, remember. It's hit on the backside, and that one's incomplete. Intended target, Asa Thompson.
Boy, Deshaun Watts. All 315 pounds of him got right to Keeney McMillan. But again, I've been impressed with the freshman standing in under the face. He's faced some pressure now, and that was another one of those opportunities to get that ball out of his hands, even though it did go incomplete. But you kind of like the processing that you've seen so far from Keeney McMillan. Oh, did they call roughing there?
They called a personal foul, 15-yard penalty, yes. So
let's take a look. Oh, that one didn't seem to strike. Oh, was it PI?
It was pass
okay,
interference,
PI.
yes.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah,
Sorry
I was
for the
looking
delay,
at the
but
quarterback.
yes.
Yeah.
So a pass interference penalty moves the ball 15 yards into goal territory at the 43. Moon up the box, gets hit hard, but Menke was the first guy to bring him down. Giles finished him off.
Nice run. They're moving fast, but again, you could see the displacement along the line of scrimmage by the interior of the purple team offensive line. They were moving bodies.
McMillan slides just around the 25-yard line. They'll mark him down at the 26.
Heads up play by McMillan right there. Again, you do have to kind of train your mind. You haven't been hit all spring. And also for the defense, you've been laying off the quarterback all spring. And in this situation, with some of these quarterbacks, Keeney obviously, included in there, is they're live. And that was, I think, smart by him to get down and slide, pick up some yards, and move forward.
We're showing you Damon Williams Jr. on the left side of your screen because he's calling the plays for the purple offense on this drive. Keeney McMillan is the quarterback. That pass is caught by Rashid Williams, who's had a big evening no matter who's been at the controls.
I'm telling you right now, Chris, the arm talent of Keeney McMillan is easy to see. There is some easy gas out of that right arm right now. Let's watch this. Good fundamentals, good strong base that he throws from. Nice tight spiral, really good strong hands there from Rashid Williams there with some tight coverage. But boy, I really like what I've seen from the redshirt freshman quarterback here.
So Williams trying to manufacture a touchdown drive in a different setting as a play caller. Julian McMahon gets tackled by Isaiah Tokyo and brings up third down.
Well, these Husky pups, man, they are growing up in a hurry, and Tokyo has now made a couple of big plays. That was one right there to bring up a third and short opportunity, but he's had a nose for the football for sure.
Such a crowded linebacker room, as we mentioned. That might be Washington's deepest position on either side of the football.
Feels like it.
Third and short. McMillan the quarterback, McMahon the tailback. And that pass is broken up. Almost an interception opportunity for Jaron Jones, one of the, are you calling him Husky Pups?
Husky Pups. I mean, sure, let's go with it. And he is another one that's been singled out. Major praise from both defensive coordinator Ryan Walters and head coach Jed Fish. Boy, did he have a nose for the football right there. I mean, knew exactly where that play was going, where that throw was going. Essentially beat the receiver to the football. Jaron Jones is a name to know here. I think he's going to be in the mix to maybe be that third outside corner. But more plays like that, he's really going to challenge for some playing time.
From Mission Viejo, California.
Great read and react.
This is a fourth down. McMillan, first down, and he lowers the shoulder and challenges Kasani Giles at the end of that run.
I don't like to see that as much, but he had already had the first down. Maybe opt for finesse over physicality at the end of a run if I'm a quarterback, but I appreciate the edge that he plays with. Ooh.
He's listed at
Serious contact.
213, but he's not a large man in terms of stature, 5'11".
No, I mean, he's really quite similar to Damon Williams. I don't know that they look all that different in terms of the way that they're built and frame. But let's keep in mind here, as you see on the left side of your screen, this has been a really well-orchestrated drive by offensive coordinator play caller Damon Williams.
In his play calling debut here at the Washington spring game. Purple team trying to punch it in here. It's first and goal. Exree Alexander is in the game.
A fullback.
McMahon brought down at the 1.
Well, that was an interesting twist, seeing X-Ray Alexander in kind of a fullback, H-back type of role there.
Wonder who made that call.
Well, it might have been something that was pitched to Demond Williams. I mean, you probably had a better shot with your teammate, allowing you an opportunity to exercise your skill set, should we say?
Someone's advocating for Alexander, who's done a little bit of everything. He's caught kicks, of course, played linebacker, and now there are 2 10s on the field.
That would get a penalty if this was a real game, for sure.
McMillan lobs it out of bounds. He was looking for Alexander in the end zone.
Just throwing that one away, I think. Live to play another day. And I think that might end the run of X-Ray Alexander's offensive experiment. Although, look, you know, might give you something to think about down the road. Didn't look out of place.
That's right.
There's Azzopardi, 74. He's a guy to watch for sure. Out at right tackle, guy with some serious NFL potential.
30 career starts over his college career.
Yeah, began at San Diego State.
McMillan's going to keep this himself. And Giles was the first to arrive on the scene, and he finishes the tackle.
Boy, again, great recognition from the white team, or excuse me, from the gold team defense. Kasani Giles has been making some plays. Look at Demond. He's like, touchdown, right? No, I'm with him though. Kind of, that's design QB run all the way. So I think this call here on 4th and goal from the 1 will be really interesting to see if he puts the ball back in Keeney's hands to run it. Whether they, maybe take a shot up there at the top with Rashid Williams, maybe go up and get it, back shoulder or fade situation. No.
The road grader, Julian McMahon. It's a touchdown for the purple team. And Demond Williams Jr., the play caller for that drive, out onto the field to celebrate.
There you go. Play it safe, Demond Williams. Give it to the guy who's got a nose for the end zone. And despite the fact that Isaiah Tokyo made a nice play to get through the line of scrimmage and get his hands on McMahon, McMahon's 235 pounds, just too much to bring down before the ball crossed the plane. And purple goes back on top. What do we got here? This is for double points if one of the head coaches decides to kick a field goal or extra point.
That's Nicole Van Dyke, the 2025 Big Ten Coach of the Year. Led the women's soccer team to a...
Oh, we're going to clear it. We're going to clear it. We're going to give her a free opportunity here. No rush. She's like, hey, everybody settle down. Settle down. Oh, no, she pumping them up?
She is pumping them up.
I thought she was trying to keep the noise down. No, she wants it.
It's a 21-yard try. It's long enough, and it's good. Nicole Van Dyke of the Elite Eight Washington women's soccer team picks up 4.
Enjoy it. Try not to hate each other too much when you're going against each other. But it truly is a blessing. I've loved playing with my brother. It's one of the greatest opportunities I've ever had. And, I know they already love it. So just keep enjoying the time.
Awesome. Thanks, Landon.
Thank you.
Chris?
All right, great stuff. Cameron Irwin with Landon Hatchett and giving flowers to women's soccer head coach Nicole Van Dyke, who's the honorary head coach of the purple team tonight.
Did you see they were looking at the replay of it on the iPad? I mean, that's using technology for good right there, folks.
It was worthy of a second look.
She's screenshotting it now. That's awesome. Look at this. That's great right there. It's like, I'm going to remember this thing forever. Way to work, Coach. Way to work. By the way, way to work. Let's give some flowers to Jake Flores, too. You mentioned Landon Hatchett, center. Jake Flores has been taking every rep with the ones at center, number 78, and he didn't play center at all in high school, so kind of creating depth this spring. Oh,
Big run here on first down. Derek Zamet in at quarterback, and Beck Walker, the junior who redshirted last year, out of the gates in a big way in the fourth.
You want to talk about contact balance? Let's watch Beck Walker just absolutely bounce off the attempted tackle that allowed him to get about another 20 yards. Bang! I mean, he absolutely sent Donovan Robinson flying and got himself an extra 20 into purple team territory. That's a way to introduce yourself to the Husky faithful.
He's a Seattle area guy. Started at Golden West Junior College for 2 seasons, and then, as we mentioned, redshirted last year. Second down coming up here. As we mentioned, Derek Zamet in at quarterback, the true freshman from Lincoln Park, New Jersey.
All right, so get an opportunity here for Zamet, another one of these talented true freshmen that have been given the opportunity to make an impression on this staff throughout the spring, and Zamet certainly got the skill set. Curious to see how he handles this opportunity. First real shot here in Husky Stadium in front of the fans.
He's a big guy. Pushed out of bounds by Caden Green. Brings up third down.
Yeah, what really like the footwork that you saw from Zamet there, and in kind of an impromptu situation. Tried to kind of reset his feet once he had scrambled outside of the pocket. Nothing there, then just take it down, get whatever yards you can. Take a look at it here. He gets flushed out of the pocket. Again, he gets an A-gap blitzer. It's picked up nicely, actually. Probably could have stood in the pocket a bit longer, got a little bit uncomfortable, but then showed that he can do something with it once he gets out of the pocket.
Coaching staff has commented on his arm strength through spring practice. Good zip on his ball. Third down here, and he looks to throw.
Again, pretty good protection.
Oh, it's intercepted by Donovan Robinson Jr. A pick 6 for the Purple Squad.
Boy, Donovan Robinson Jr., a redshirt freshman. Again, another one of these young Husky pups that has really started to make a name for himself throughout the spring. Coach Walters called him a pleasant surprise. And what I love is the resiliency. He was the guy that took the business end of Beck Walker's first carry and then bounces right back. Look at the closing speed from Robinson right there to catch up to that throw, make the ball skills to make the pick, speed then to run it in for the pick 6. That's a big-time play for a young player.
Beck Walker, the intended receiver, had that ball first. And Robinson ripped it right out of there and took it all the way back for a touchdown.
Boy, I mean, maybe it's 5-6 different linebackers now that could really compete and challenge for playing time for Coach Brian Odom, who Ryan Walters did single out, is a guy that's kind of responsible for the growth and development of some of these players. Has done a fantastic job kind of creating some really good problems for Coach Walters to get these guys on the field.
C.J. Wallace for the point after try. Kind of talked to Ryan Walters about that this week. Such a deep position. How are you going to get all these guys out on the field? And he likes having the versatility to work with. And he's a creative enough guy. I think he'll be able to figure it out.
Yeah, and look, I think they're further ahead this year than where you might normally be going into year 2 in a scheme, just because of some of the injuries and personnel issues they had late in the season last year. I kind of thought they were going to play one way, and then because of the personnel that they had to kind of shuffle in and out to make it work, they were they were kind of creating game plans really week to week, so they were putting more on the guys in year 1 than they probably thought they were going to do early in the season. But now it's created such a better baseline for where they were to start this spring it's allowed some of these younger players, to really kind of see the breadth and depth of what Coach Walters can put out there on the play sheet, get ready for it, and then go out there and execute it. And I think the linebacking core and these young players like Jaron Jones and Donovan Robinson and Kasani Giles and Isaiah Tokyo are great representatives of kind of grasping the mental aspect of this thing. And then once you do that, allowing your immense physical talents to go out there and put it to good use.
Wallace, who just hit the point after try, out for the kickoff. Freshman from Manhattan Beach, California, Quade Carr with the fair catch. The Big Show delivers highlights, post-game interviews, and complete analysis. It's coming up next on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. Still a little bit early to truly call it Dogs After Dark. I mean,
we did have some rain a minute ago.
Yes.
Just kind of popped up out of nowhere, but the fans have stuck around. They know what that's all about here, right? No strangers to a little precipitation, but it is a beautiful skyline right now. The horizon is gorgeous, great setting, or the greatest setting.
That's what it says on the sideline.
Yes, it does. I'm not going to argue.
They do have an argument. UCLA, though, I mean, the Rose Bowl, that's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Sun sets behind the San Gabriels. Come on.
On first down, Zamet in at quarterback, and Ansu Sano with the carry. Now, I wanted to tell you this, Rhett. He's a guy who actually slimmed down a little bit. Mention all the guys who are bulking up, putting on pounds. They asked Sanu to drop 5 or 10.
Well, same goes for John Mills, the stud guard who started 11 games as a true freshman. He got down, Chris, to 330 pounds.
He got down?
He got down to 330 pounds and still feels really good, really strong with where he's at. You know how he did it? He had to cut out the Charleston chews and the gummy bears and a little bit of fast food. But look, as a Charleston chew aficionado myself, that's a difficult thing to deal with. And so great commitment. He singled out the nutrition staff and the strength staff that's really worked with him to kind of hone in on taking care of his body. But that's part of what, Coach Fish goes back to, being a pro, taking care of your body like a pro, allow you to be in a position to be one.
Zamet with some real estate. First down run for the quarterback.
And look, I think, you see the skill set here. Take the green grass that's given to you, especially when you got, you're live for contact. Taking another look. You see the gap kind of opens up there as the edge rusher's got a little deep behind where Zamet was setting up, and he took advantage of that green grass in front of him. So, speaking of real estate, I think about the Washington Huskies, in the landscape of where the college football playoff contenders lie in this Big Ten. And I think they're right there on the edge, maybe second tier. If we're talking about, Oregon, Ohio State, and Indiana as that top tier. Washington's knocking on the door here, Chris. I think they're going to be in contention. If they win 10 games, now look, we mentioned the end of the season stretch is going to be tough with Indiana and Oregon consecutively to close it out, but I think they got an opportunity.
Well, that's the feeling around this program heading into the fall for sure. Damon Williams Jr. will play a big role in just how far the Huskies go this season. He's standing by on the sideline with Cameron Irwin.
All right, guys, it's time to lock in. I've got Damon and Denzel. First and foremost, you're calling plays. How happy are you with your performance in that?
Yeah, pretty happy, especially with the clock management. Just trying to put my team on top. Shout out to Kenny for giving me those fourth downs. Sometimes you got to leave it in your quarterback's hands.
I love it. And Denzel, congratulations, heading off to the Cleveland Browns from being a dog to now the dog pound. Just what kind of mentality you want to bring to Cleveland?
Sorry, can you say one?
What kind of mentality do you want to bring to Cleveland?
Oh yeah, just a hard-nosed mentality. Go in there, put my head down and work. Just go score some touchdowns and go have a great time.
Now, there's been so much conversation just around your leadership and heading into 2026, especially your vocality. What do you have to keep in mind as you prepare to lead this team once more?
Yeah, I think continuing to build the off-the-field connections, it just continues to make the on-the-field connections even more strong, especially with the O-line and, a lot of the skill positions, just being able to know them on a deeper level and then be able to talk to them like that on the field. You start to understand how you can talk to certain people, and I think that's a big part of leadership.
And Denzel, I know the second night of the draft, your guys showed backup for you. What did it mean to have them come back, even changing a workout to be there to support you?
Yeah, you know, it's great to have that family that I have back over here at UW. You know, being able to have my guy Damon, being able to have all my linemen and my other fellow receivers with me, you know, it just reminds you of that love and those connections that you built over the time that you were here, and it was just a great time.
You guys talk about the connection. Well, 2026 is soon to be excitable, just on the horizon. How high is the ceiling for the Huskies?
I think extremely high, as long as we do what we got to do. And, you know, I think it's going to be up to us, you know, where we can go. And it's up to us how much work we put in over the summer to get as good as we can.
Awesome. Thanks for joining me, you guys. Appreciate it. Chris?
Thanks, Cameron. From the dogs to the dog pound. That's great.
I love that for Denzel Boston. Actually, you know, they actually took back-to-back receivers. Took a receiver in the first round, Casey Conception, and then ended up with Boston in the second. Great get. And you know what? It's kind of interesting to see the torch kind of being handed down in this receiver room. You know, Denzel Boston was a guy that really grew up under, you know, players like Rome Odunze and Jalen McMillan and Jalen Polk, and really kind of learned while they were in the spotlight. And now, you know, Boston had an opportunity last year to really kind of groom these young players like Desmond Roebuck. And, you know, another one who we're not seeing tonight in Chris Lawson, but we saw plenty of a year ago. And so I think that part of the tutelage there from young players to the old players and on down has been really impressive within this program.
Wow, what a throw by Derek Zamet on fourth down. It was almost caught by Trez Davis, but nothing about that was easy.
It was caught at the end, just out of bounds. But yeah, look at the way he kind of flips his hip and gets square downfield. That ball was actually even tipped a little bit by Elias Johnson. Great cut. Look, I mean, he still has the ball, just sliding out of bounds, unfortunately. Ran out of room, but terrific effort from Zamet.
That was a fourth down, so the purple team takes over on downs with the ball near midfield at about the purple 45.
I was kind of hoping we could influence a play call with Damon. I think Damon's given up play calling now, but, you know.
Well, come on, what would it have been?
Well, you know what? He did actually call one out during spring. He's like, this is what it sounds like. Bonsai right, Patriot bullseye. Bonsai right, Patriot bullseye on two. That would be mine. That would be mine. That's what he mentioned at kind of example of a Jetfish play call. Maybe that was the one he scored on to Rasheed Williams.
Entirely possible.
Bonsai right, Patriot.
I mean, we're getting to Dogs After Dark. It's the spring football game. Everything is on the table. Rhett told me he's a Charleston Chews aficionado.
Come on, man.
Is that chocolate and marshmallow?
Or something like that. Yeah, it's good, whatever it is. Another new QB.
And it's Dash Byerly, whose first pass is incomplete. Just on the carpet to Jordan Clay.
Comes from another high school powerhouse down in Southern California in Mater Dei.
Not the only Mater Dei quarterback on the Washington roster. Elijah Brown also went to Mater Dei.
Indeed. We're heading off to Stanford, and again, that experience, a big part of why he's kind of penciled in, necessarily written in stone as the QB2, but Byerly, McMillan, and Zamet certainly vying for that opportunity. Oh, man.
Jet sweep to Mason James, and that play gets strung out for a loss on the play. Ramzak Fruin, Isaiah Tokyo, the future of the Washington defense.
I mean, I'm telling you, Chris, if we went back per capita, watch Fruin off the edge here. He knows exactly what's coming. I mean, just great read and react and awareness there for a young player. The percentage of big plays that have been made in this game by freshmen, I mean, it's got to be like 75%. I mean, outside of Damon Williams to Rasheed Williams for the touchdown, these guys are all over the field tonight, both on the offensive and defensive side of the ball. I haven't really mentioned the fact that Cody Green, big five-star left tackle, has been taking every single rep with the ones. He's a teenager.
I think in some cases you might look at all these freshmen, playing
Incredible class.
And you might think, oh, this is a rebuilding program, but it's not.
Well, not when again, you recruit them like first-round picks. And again, to quote Jed Fish, in the NFL, first-round picks play. And you know, there's a money factor too now in the NIL world. If you're going to spend some money on some high price, on some, you know, highly touted true freshmen, you're going to expect them to kind of earn it, and that's what they're doing here.
Tokyo hits Byerly at the end of that run. That was on 4th down, and Byerly did not get the first down. Gold team takes over.
Yeah, taking a look, Byerly tried to kind of get guys moving off to the edge with the, oh, what a hit from Tokyo. Boy, he packs a punch. And then you had Victor Sanchez-Hernandez coming to clean it up right there, but Tokyo has been flying around tonight. Tokyo Drift right now.
Tokio. That's how he spells his last name.
It has been fast. It has been, okay, I'm just
Has it been furious as well?
I'm just going to let that one go.
Here's a 1st and 10 for Derek Zamet. Hauled in by Williams. He took a shot at the end of the play by Ramon Adams Jr., but holds on for the first down.
That's a big-time throw right there. I think you saw a little bit of the RPMs. You get a look at what he's seeing. Kind of thought he was going to go off to the right side of the field. Fits that in between two Husky defenders. You had Ramon Adams Jr. kind of closing there, and he's able to get that in just in time. Terrific catch as well by Justice Williams.
They're batted down at the line of scrimmage. Might have been big Darren Conley who got his hands on that one.
Yeah, kind of working through a new group up there up front, you know, for this Husky defense. Conley will be involved, but Derek Coleman-Brusa, the true freshman, has been working right next to Elenius Davis, who we haven't seen a ton of here. I haven't really called his name much, but boy, have they been calling it to us when we're talking about him. Has had, you know, one of the best springs of anybody on defense. Coach Walters called him the smartest interior defensive lineman he's ever been around.
Oh, and he almost
said USC showed some serious, you know, improvement the last couple of years, and now we'll see where Gary Patterson can take it. But we know that Lincoln's going to throw the ball. We know they're going to have productive offense, and I think that'll be a really good opportunity for Washington to make a statement.
There's a quarterback sack. Hayden Moore, a senior who began his college career at
again, taking advantage of the full contact here with Zamet. That was a big-time play. So you throw out, you know, the edge rushers that are going to be competing here. Moore certainly one of them. Devin Hyde is one of them. Logan George, who we're not seeing tonight, will be in that mix as well. Isaiah Ward.
And Elenius Davis is going to get credit for the sack. Now we call his name.
I mean, he's live for contact. I would like to let him see him play that thing out, but you still want to take care of the quarterbacks. I get it. Look at Linus, who's bouncing around like a pinball in there, and then eventually got to Zamet just enough to influence the whistle from the referee. But yeah, you know, going back to what Coach Walters said about him, you know, he talks like an inside linebacker, setting things up. He's, you know, pre-snap diagnosis, plays with great pad level. He's been dominant this spring, and he's been a real mentor to Derek Coleman-Brusa. You know, part of the reason why, you know, a guy that's kind of gotten better over the course of the spring, playing with those ones, and real bright spot for this Husky defense there in the interior of the D-line.
Former Spud at Moorhead High School.
There you go.
In Minnesota.
Okay. Spuds.
They are going to replay either that down or just,
yeah,
it is 4th down.
Quick whistle, so let's just see what we got here.
4th and 20.
Not an ideal down and distance, but let's see what Zamet has.
Oh, nearly intercepted by Donovan Robinson Jr., who already has a pick 6 tonight. Almost had another one.
Yeah, it's getting late here for the gold team, but let's take a look at how Zamet saw this unfolding over the middle of the field. I saw exactly what he was looking at. He saw the crosser right there from Trez Davis, did not have an eye or a bead on Donovan Robinson, who was reading the eyes of Zamet. Again, that's a young quarterback. Again, you'd like to kind of work Robinson off that spot in order to create that window for Trez Davis over the middle of the field. Just wasn't able to do that, and that's something that'll come with time. Manipulate the eyes of the defenders.
Purple team takes over. Dash Byerly in at quarterback. And personnel running out onto the field for the gold team. Byerly chucks it long. Incomplete. Looking for Deji Ajosi.
A little bit of hand fighting down there, a little bit of contact. Elijah Durr, another true freshman from Southern California. Yeah, you got to be careful there as you either celebrate or gesture in the direction of an opposing player. That could draw a flag. Got to be careful there.
Five-man rush.
Final seconds. What do we got?
Byerly ultimately tripped up by Jaron Jones.
Come on, timeout. Let's get one more. Let's get one play to finish.
I think your wish will not be granted.
Oh, no, they're going to roll it. I thought they stopped it for a second. All right.
I did too.
Shoot.
Final score, the purple team led by Damon Williams Jr.